Welcome back to the locker room. My name is Tommy's Locker, also known as Coach Cattle, and today we're going to be going over Skid Row Hardpoint P2, the rotation, but it's not really about the rotation, it's really about pathing and prioritizing optimization of actual routes that you take and making sure that your priorities are true in the game. I know that there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misconceptions about how to actually path because people think that, oh, you need to be apart from your teammates, but sometimes you just need to flood the hill, and this is kind of what this example is going to be about. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to watch the first minute of the gameplay. I'm going to commentate over it, and then we're going to break down after that kind of wave by wave in terms of what you should do. So let's get into it. Starting off, we're going to be going over player number 4. As you can see, he's going to be coming straight through the middle of the map, and then he's going in here. This is going to be what we're mainly going to be talking about. Player number 4 comes through the middle of the map. He's trying to get control. He does end up getting a nice 2-piece, one here, and then another on player 8. And then he is going to try to take control of the map. Now, a big issue on this is that player 2 and player 1 are not pushing out and trying to get control of this. Player 2 could go up top, player 3 could go down into shipping, down those crates area, but they don't end up doing that. And so it's a continuous fight for this. Now, what you're going to see player 4 again, he's going to come through, try to do the same thing again. He's actually going to end up splitting the spawns. You'll see right here. He ends up splitting the spawns. I don't know if he gets any kills or not. Okay, I think he gets 2. Okay, even if he gets 2-piece though, he splits the spawn, which is actually worse for him. So that is the 1 minute mark right about now. We're going to talk about why this is an issue and why. Unfortunately, I didn't have the big screen up the whole time, but we're really just going to break down what we need to do. So let's go ahead and start off spawn. So let's look at the situation first. What do we have? We have 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds to the next one. The map is basically split like this, and it does look like blue team does have control over P2 area for now, but they have control of the P2 point, not of the spawns. Let me make that clear. Control of the P2 point, not the spawns. So they do have this, but also for them to rotate over to it, they have the easiest access in getting the spawns for this. They need to really just scrap this if they don't have control of the point at this time, unless whoever is in here, I believe player number 2, Surge, unless he can actually get this point right here and take some scrap time. Actually, even if he does get it, doesn't matter. Everyone still rotates except for Surge if he, player number 2, if he actually does win this, but everyone just rotates into this point. That's what we should be doing. There should be really no other play. Really 45 seconds too, you should just be doing it because overall, if you take the time difference based on on hills, P1 is always going to be a scrap hill, so you can get some scrap. You can stop them from getting it easier. P2, that's the second biggest hill in the game in terms of scrap time. So, not scrap time, but just actual time. So let's continue. Let's play this through, and as we see right now, we're going to look at player 4. We're going to talk about what he does. Player 4 comes through the bottom middle, and he is going to try to get control of this area right here. Okay, that's what player 4 does. Now, he will pick up a 2-piece when he comes around the side right here and right here. But the problem with it is when he does end up getting this 2-piece, he actually doesn't, it's not really on him on this part. I mean, you can always nitpick gameplay. I think that he could have kind of wrapped around right here maybe and played a little bit closer corner to try to stop this on ticket. But the problem is you have player 1 and 3 and 2 who do end up spawning. They are not making their way over here with ARs to get control of this area, to get control of the spawn so they can spawn there. That's the biggest fault initially. I think that I went over this with him, and I hope it didn't seem like I was really singling out player 4, because that was not the case. It was really, which we'll talk about percentages and stuff and winning gunfights and waves and stuff as we let this play on. But it's here's the situation right here. Okay, for you to actually get into this building right here, into P2, let's do yellow. Yellow is an easier color. For you to get into yellow and to get here, you have this window right here, this gap that you're gonna cross. Now, crossing this gap is not extremely difficult. As long as you're not getting stunned or naded and it's stopping your sprint, you still can get in there. All you do is you just sprint and slide at the right time to limit your character profile, and you can get in there. Now, the problem that I have with this is that if you are a sub, right, let's look at your options. You can come through mid like he did. You could, or you could come through here, right? There are other options, but we're just going to talk about these for now. These two options give you the ability to either A, play for the point itself, so that's one thing. And I think if you're a sub, this is probably one of the best places you can be at the map, on the map at that time, because they're forcing you to, you force the other players to come in, and you're going to win these gunfights up close. The other option, which is what he did, is he played inside this little zone right here. Now, as a sub, you can rotate quickly between here. You can come out, pop out, kill. You can come in, like pop out, kill anyone here, kill anyone around the corner. Okay. This spot right there is not horrible. It's not a horrible spot to play. But when you look at the actual gunfights you're taking, these gunfights are going to be a mixture between close, medium, and long range gunfights. And with that, you're not going to really, if you have to take an AR in between versus a sub and a medium gunfight, you're going to take the AR. If you're going to take, and then, so that means out of 2 out of the 3, the close, medium, and long, you're going to lose the gunfight. Whereas here, you can actually force yourself to only take close gunfights. So this is where the priority comes and where you should be positioning. The second thing that's really important to know too is you don't have the ability as a sub to be able to push these longer lines of sight and push in here and be able to get this, because you really need an AR to be watching over you so that you can push in and get in here. The AR has the range and they can do that. You just don't have the ability to do it with a sub. Now, he does get a 2-piece here. Let me remind you, he does get a 2-piece. But the biggest thing that we're talking about right now is waves, okay? Watch him come out. We're gonna talk about waves here in a second too. Right here, this is the point, okay? This is the point where after you get this, you have players coming in here. He can go in here, or he can go up inside point, and then point can drop down like that. And then because point doesn't even spawn for another 10 seconds, so he does have time. And then player 1 can actually pick up garage if needed, and player 2 can come over here, and he can actually come over right here, right? There's a lot of things that can happen here, but no one was bumping. No one, so this is why I don't really fault the sub player as much. Sub player did what he was supposed to do, but there was no follow-up on the ARs, so that's kind of an issue, right? But we're going to talk about waves now because I want you to understand why it's better to just funnel something like this, funnel here, than try and go for why you need to secure the spawn over everything else, okay? One thing about Hardpoint that I don't think a lot of people really understand is the spawns are arguably more important than the hill time. I personally believe spawns are more important than hill time. Obviously, if you're going to lose the game if you don't get hill time, but something that is not understood, which it should be so common to understand, is that if you don't have spawns, you aren't likely to get hill time. If you can get it though. If you do have spawns, you're not guaranteed to get hill time, but it's almost guaranteed throughout the course of a match. If you have every spawn, you're almost guaranteed to get hill time. Let's break it down in American football stance. You can use it in soccer if you're European, or football if you're European, that sort of thing. Let's do white. Okay, perfect. This is white right here. American football. Now we're going to go into, these are the spawns, or these are the end zones, you must call it that. Now within here, we're going to do the 50-yard line. So this is the 50-yard line. Now, right here, what we're going to do is, this is going to be P2. So this line right here is P2. P2. Now, we're going to do blue for this team. So this is the blue team spawn right here. Trying to do this, but I'm pretty bad at coloring, instead I'm using a mouse. Blue team spawn, and we're going to say this is red team spawn as well. Okay. I know you guys weren't really tuned in for an art video, but here it is. Here it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into our blue color. Here's the problem. All right, if I'm going to get to P2 from the spawn, it's going to take, let's say, 5 seconds. Let's say it takes 5 seconds, okay? And then we're going to add another 5 seconds right here. I'll tell you why in a second. So assuming that off spawn you sprint immediately to the hardpoint location and you die immediately, and that's including trying to challenge a gunfight and the respawn timer and death and all that stuff and spawning back up again, I'm going to say that you have 5 seconds of travel time and then 5 seconds of challenge and death time, okay? So this is going to come out to a total of 10 seconds, okay? Now you have a course of, now you have 60 seconds in the hardpoint. You have 60 seconds divided by this 10 seconds right here. You have a total of 6, okay? Now, but you have 4 players on the team, so you're going to do 6 times 4 right here is going to be 24. That's really bad, but hopefully we can get that in there. So 24. What this means is you have 6 waves of players, and you have a total of 24 lives possible to challenge this hill from start to finish if you were going to do that. So that's the concept behind it. But let's look at this over here. Now, if we're going to go with the red team, now we have red team. Let's put it on the actual point if we're going to make this look nice and pretty. Now, red, white, and blue America. Now, if we're gonna if we're gonna actually do the time here, let's say that the time for this is going to be 10 seconds. It's probably long. It may be longer, but we'll just say 10 seconds plus another 5 seconds, right? We're gonna say 5 seconds for that, and that's going to equal a total of 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Now, with this 15 seconds, you're going to take 60, right? The total time that we have, divide it by 15. And then with this 15 seconds, we're going to have a total of 4, okay? 4 total waves that we can potentially do. And we're going to apply this 4 times the total number of teammates that we have, which means it's going to be 16. So what this means, if we can get our trusty green out, this means that you have what is this, 4 waves versus 6 waves, and then you have 16 versus versus, there we go, versus 24, okay? 16 versus 24. Now with these 24, what you also are going to be doing is you are going to really break this down. If you divide it, it comes out to be 66.7% chance. Now, what is this chance for? This means that for the red team to win, they have to push here and win 66.7% of their gunfights to be able to go even based on time and waves and whatnot and lives allotted to this hard point. 66.7% chance of winning their gunfights consistently to be able to take this hill and get control of it, or actually just to be able to have a 50-50 gunfight. That means is that if the blue team has the spawns, they can be losing their gunfights a lot more, and it's not going to matter because they still have spawns and they can still flood it. This is why spawns are way more important than what you think they are, okay? So when we see this, right, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this now. We're going to go ahead and play the rest of this, and we're going to really see what happens here, right? So even though he had flooded this, he ends up dying on this location right here, and then they end up dying over here, or not yet. So he ends up actually coming through here again, trying to do the same thing again, right? They're not actually going for the spawns. No one's going for the spawns. And actually, this is you'll see in a minute, right? You'll see in a minute right here, they start getting flip spawns. See? Oh, right here. You see that flip spawns? How some people are red over here and blue over here? Now, basically, even though that this side is better temporarily, that you have the ability to kind of push into the spawns, you are still, it's still not great for the long term. And you actually, the temporary advantage that you had for being able to push this out, you actually just gave it up. And it has nothing to do with winning or losing gunfights and like, oh, we had to win our gunfights, that's why we lost the game. No, it's because of the pathing and the choice you make. If you stand in a certain area of the map, it will block certain spawns and it will allow certain spawns to happen. If you just look in certain areas, a team won't spawn there. That's another thing that's kind of important to realize. That's the end of this video. I really just wanted to break down what spawns and waves and a lot of this stuff mean to competitive, because people don't understand that you need to be pushing for the spawn. That's your goal. That's your main priority, is pushing for the spawn. If you don't push for that, you're going to lose the game. Just straight up, you're going to lose the game. Spawns are the priority. Hill time is second, because hill time is naturally given when spawns are a priority. So that's the end of the video. If you did like it, I would appreciate you throwing a like my way. It does really help a lot. Other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions or anything you'd like me to cover in future videos. I really just wanted to kind of go in depth and how the game works. But yeah, y'all have a good one.